the exigencies of life. We moved to Virginia right after Pearl Harbor. My father was doing business there. My mother, we moved into a house that was unfinished, unheated, no toilet facilities because the house wasn't finished. This was wartime Norfolk, Virginia, with the biggest naval base on the East Coast. And so I was, again, this independent kid. I went to school with a key around my neck because my mother worked, my father worked, and my sister was in high school. So off she went to high school, and I walked the long distance to the Emma Willard School, where I was the only Jewish child in the entire school, and started every day singing Onward Christian Soldiers. I learned every word of it. And because I was so smart and came from New York, I was years ahead of all the other kids. So I had an easy time in school. I didn't need any parenting. I really didn't. And my mother, because she worked full time, I came home early with the key around my neck. And my mother expected me to help her clean the house, which children at that time did. Unlike the coddled children of this era, at that time, children were expected to help out in the house.
Yeah.
So I would scrub the kitchen floor because my mother wouldn't use a mop. And I learned to make up poetry. I mean, I was just that kind of kid. I had that gift. So I recited poetry to myself while I scrubbed the floor. And I made up stories for myself. Now, the all-night blackouts were part of the regimen of life in Norfolk, Virginia. Because of the base, there were all-night blackouts on a regular basis. My mother became an air raid warden. And so she would be walking the streets with our big Irish setter. My father at that point had moved to more fertile fields of business. He was in Texas. My sister was out dating. She was a teenager. She was, 15, 16. And so I was left alone in the house with the curtains drawn, no lights, no radio, no nothing. And I used to say to myself, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. So I became my best friend. You understand, this was a reaction to a situation that was not uncommon during that period. My parents were not unusually uncaring. It's just that I was a very capable child. So I got through those nights, put myself to bed. I would read my books under the covers with a flashlight because I was a great reader. So in the end, it turned out to be a positive experience because I learned to be on my own. My creativity flourished. So I see it as now a building block, not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. Like some people could have turned into a victim and been resentful and all that. Or maybe they didn't back then. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, orphans, people left, a boy, I mean, now he's in his 80s, but he was left alone in an orphanage. His father left him in a hotel in New York for a month by himself at 10.
It was very common in those days for single father parents to drop their kids off in an orphanage. They said someone will take care of them. So it was a time when parenting was not this protective, loving behavior as we all know it in this era. It's just totally the other way. And I guess if you didn't have the gifts in you, and the thing I want to remind people about is this. The next door neighbors were very nice to me. I would go over there. Ebby Coates taught me how to bake and how to cook. She welcomed an intelligent 10 or 11-year-old to help her with her own babies. So it was a time when, people helped each other. And I never felt afraid during that time. It was just a long night.
Mm-hmm.
But it left me well equipped to be on my own, to not be afraid of the dark. It served me later in my life when my husband died and I was all alone. And I said, I've been alone before. This is not so terrible. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a Pollyanna. I am just...
No. But I'm thinking, as you're talking, you probably didn't have all the scary movies that we see now where kids are so terrified.
What a scary war outside our door. We had people talking about the Nazis coming and the submarines being blown up and air raids. No. There was plenty of talk of fear. That was true. There's always been fear in the world. How you adapt to the anxiety is the other thing. So for me, I took the way that worked for me inside. I played Let's Pretend. I kept saying, I'll be all right. I had a special pass on my palm that said, please excuse Gwen. I made that up as my own protection, which is called adaptation.